Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video on Motogp 24, and today we are jumping into the world of live GP for the first time on video in 2024. Now this feature came into 2023, wasn't the best, had some big flaws that kind of ruined the game mode. It was nearly impossible to rank up and we could never ever get to the top rankings. Now they've seemingly fixed a lot of the bugs and issues they had in 23, and for 24 it looks like it's overall just a step forward. Now today is our probably overall third race in the actual live GP, but the first one in video format. Now I did actually enjoy this quite a lot. Longer races are usually better for me. I'm not really a fan of kind of a short little sprint or dash. The long race definitely suited me and I felt better over the longer race. I actually enjoyed the game more that way, so definitely would be up for doing more of these in the future. So if you do enjoy today's video, let me know if you'd like me to kind of make some sort of weekly series with maybe seeing how far I can get up the rankings and stuff like that. But without further ado, now it is time to get onto the track and let's see some action. Just quickly guys, if you do enjoy today's video, if you wouldn't mind, let me know with either a like or a comment, and maybe even consider subscribing for future videos. Thanks, back to the video. Now my first qualifying lap was very good up until very tricky turn 12. Didn't feel like I broke that deep, but went absolutely miles off the track. And again, the live stewards are on it, so I'm going to have to be very careful with rejoining and impeding and all these little silliness, because at the moment the stewarding is a bit on the erratic way, you could say. To be honest, it's a bit crazy with the penalties you're getting. 2 minutes left in the session, we got our first clean lap. It puts us second behind Chris Ryder. We're 0.6 off at the moment, so not ideal. We do go again, and it turns out to be a faster lap. Now it's not an amazing lap overall, but it is a step. Now we're a couple lengths quicker. You'll see here now as we jump to turn 9, we've just gotten up behind a factory, or a Grassini Ducati should I say, and just slightly taking my line. You could kind of just see my delta just went away from me and started to come back, so we're probably being slightly held up, and we're going to have to go for the move, because maybe I could have probably gotten a bit closer to Chris's time, but at the moment you can see I just lost a lot into the difficult 9. Again, I'm just hesitant on turning the bike into 12, so it was just a bit unfortunate on my fast lap that I had a bit of traffic, because I also had traffic on my other laps, and I had a couple laps where I validated for small little infringements, touching debris and stuff. But we get a very good run out of the bus stop, and that ends up kind of giving us the shotgun sprint down to the last corner. Gave me a couple lengths back, and I think overall I do this last corner better on this lap. As you can see on entry there, we gain a lot. Also mid corner we seem to gain a lot. At one point we're half a second pretty much under. I think in the end it's nearly 2.5-3 lengths is what we actually gained over this lap, so not a bad lap overall. In mid 45 is pretty decent from my level. Unfortunately third in qualifying, 0.6 off. Gangaram on the Aprilia was in a 44, so not really touching that. So for the race we're just going to try and stick in there, because again with the longer race, the fueling and the tyres on this game, you kind of just need to be patient, and that is what we're planning to do. Now we were recommended medium front, medium rear, which is what we went ahead with. Huge mistake. You will see here in a second the front tyre basically was on fire constantly the whole race. It was a massive issue holding me back. Factory qualified in the front row, I was hoping for the podium, that was the goal, but the medium front, I'm not too sure if it's bugged or not, but it was just seemingly really difficult to keep it from overheating, and it wasn't particularly trail braking, just getting lean. It would get up into kind of the amber colour, so anytime I put load through it would really affect the front tyre, which was a bit annoying because it was a recommended one, but I definitely should have trusted my gut and went with a hard, because in qualifying I was running soft, and in the race went medium, and the temperature was worse on the mediums ironically. So here we are now, we have 5 red lights, 2 Ducatis and a Aprilia across the front row. Can we get a good start? Decent start compared to the Ducati to my right. The other Ducati to my left though storming down. Now we take a very cautious. Chris goes very deep off the track. We cut back and take P2, so we've made up 1 position into turn 1. And I hadn't seen Gangram at all throughout the session, so I had no idea of his speed. I knew myself in qualifying there was a couple of tenths in table which brought me a bit closer to his lap time, so maybe he wasn't as far ahead. Straight away early here we're onto the back of him, and I feel pretty good immediately, which you'll see pretty much right away. If you keep an eye on my front tyre, it'll start to just go through the roof in terms of temperature. Now I don't think it's anything to do with being close to the rider in front. I don't think the game is kind of simulating at that high of a level the temperature of the front tyre. Coming into this corner here, not really sure what I did wrong. With a small wheelie, got on the brakes, and yeah, pushed me straight down into turn 8 and basically ruined my run to 8-9. and that was when I first noticed the front tire got really hot, and I was kind of going, maybe I could have just took a bit of liberty just to pull it down to not run off the track. But you'll see now again into, no doubt, turn 12 here in a second, that they'll again get pretty hot, pretty much very little on the, in terms of braking. You see just getting to full lean, it's getting into the orange colour, which is really worrying at this point of the race. I think I don't know if the front is going to be like this. Now again, the mistakes for riders in front, gang around, goes straight off. Mike Ryder tries to cut back and get the run, but Honda just doesn't seem to get out of the corner. This is brilliant for me because they're kind of battling, holding each other up. I get the slipstream and I absolutely try and pull them in as much as I can, but into this last corner the bike just does not turn, so you have to be really careful, because you'll see throughout the race there people struggle. Bike for whatever reason is just like immobile into that corner. It just is absolutely impossible to get the bike into that corner. But after a kind of small mistake in turn 8 and 9, we kind of rebounced pretty quickly, got back onto them. I feel very good when I'm behind people on this game for some reason. I'm not too sure the reason, because historically most bike games I much rather have empty track aiming. I don't like the distraction, but for some reason on GB24 I just like having someone as a marker. Having a wheel in front of me is really nice. So at this point in the race I was pretty comfortable, and I was thinking to myself, right, we need to manage these tyres, because I was thinking in my head as well, surely I'm not the only one that's gone with the recommended tyres. Most people will go with the recommended tyres, which means I'm not going to be the only one on the medium front that is absolutely burning up. And again into turn 7 there, just gets slightly too hot for my liking. So I was kind of thinking to myself, how do I do anything in this race, because again gang around goes quite deep, and imagine he's also having front tyre issues even on the Aprilia. So it was one of these races where it's kind of thinking, who's on what's going to be the outcome. It was an interesting race to actually think about at the time, because I knew I had to manage the small bit, because the rear felt okay, to be honest. I wasn't getting much spin, I wasn't getting much slide. It was just again down here, look how red it's after getting, and we actually just took a bit too much on entry there, and we just had to kind of release the brake small bit, let the bike run wide. So that could easily have been a crash and put me out of the podium contention, but thankfully we kind of just released the brake, went wide. I think we didn't get a warning, funnily enough, I imagine we should have, but it was is what it is. Now again, looks like the Aprilia of Gangaround was probably the quickest man in here, so he's probably pulled away in this last half a lap for the second time. But I'm trying to get ahead of Mike, but we pretty much mirror each other there by touching the curb. The bike sits massively up, and this all I mean is just leaving the Aprilia away from us. So we're pushing on, trying to manage the front tyre as best we can. 5.62, we're 0.7 off what we did in qualifying, so not too bad. I believe Chris crashed very early. He was probably one of the faster of the four of us. After seeing qualifying, there was 4 riders pretty close, and then the other 3 were way off. So the goal was to be on the podium, but it was nearly a guaranteed P4 just in terms of the speed we had. And again, another front end moment for the riders in front. So again, just shows that we're all in kind of the same box. I imagine we're all probably gone on this medium front, but we're kind of stuck with it now. I kind of have to learn to live with it, and it's still getting really hot. You saw into that corner, and again you can see it in my controller overlay. I'm not really pushing it that hard. I'm kind of, by the time I get into lean, I'm getting off the brake and trying to roll the bike into the corner. So I'm trying to release the front and give it as much of a good time as possible, really, but it's not really working for me, and I'm just losing confidence on the front, and it's going to come a point where I'm going to have to kind of just force it to fit, and that usually will end in a crash. But we're probably slightly quicker over the whole lap than Mike, but as you'll see here in a second, the front tyre woes continue. At this point I was starting to just feel a bit better, and I started to think, John, we could push on, and we just go across the curb, and I'm not too sure, was it a bit of brake, wrong gear, but you could just see it. Look how red it got absolutely ridiculously hot on the left side. So it just looks like the temperature just had enough, because to be honest I did it the previous lap, and I did it a couple of laps where I cut that curb ever so slightly, and like the front tyre has not regained its temperature, it's still ridiculously overheated. And yeah, that was a massive shame, because we did remount in E3, but Chris, who was probably the fastest man, if not definitely the second quickest, was a couple of seconds behind me. So we went on to defense and tried to be best we can. He goes for it into 12. I tried to give him room, but you just don't have the precision on this game. So when he went for it, I picked the bike up, but the bike kind of still collided with him. So apologies to him there, but he got to move on. We got himself a warning in the meantime. Now, kind of felt when he got himself through, that would be it. So I did try my best here, including get myself a warning. So I was really hanging on, but I just was lacking with the front tyre, and you can see I've actually turned the tyre graphic off for the time being, just because I don't want to see it overheating. I'll probably check on it in a bit again, but it's one of those things. Again, you can see Chris even struggling to get the bike pulled into the last corner. It's just one of those corners where just on this game with the current physics and the braking, it's so difficult. It just feels like you're stuck in mud. You cannot get the bike in. So it's slightly disappointing, because you can see we have 26 seconds over the riders behind and only 10 seconds off the lead. You'd imagine take out probably 5, 6, 7 seconds for the crash. You're only 2 seconds off the lead, anything can happen. And we're just kind of hanging in at the moment. Again, the fact that we have a wheel, I'm just about hanging in there with Chris, but it's kind of all for nothing, because we're really going to struggle to overtake, because I couldn't even overtake the Honda of Mike. So even if I somehow manage to get on the back of Chris, overtaking is really difficult on this game, just because everyone's kind of close to the limit. Everyone is riding very similar. It's so hard to make fine motor skill movements in this game. It's just very difficult to move the bike at all. And we've turned the tyre temperatures back on. You can see front tyre is worn quite a bit more on the inside and outside than the rear, and it's just, again, you get to full lean and it starts to just absorb the heat a bit better as this race has gone on. So I'm not too sure why. Maybe it's down to the fuel load. As the race went on, I actually had more issues with the rear sliding, which was definitely down to wear and tear. But the fact that for the first few laps of the race, the front felt so kind of all over the place was just a weird one for me. I wasn't really sure exactly what was causing. And again, every few seconds we see yellow flag, and I think, oh, is that someone in front? Is that Chris or Mike or whoever in front of me is after crashing? But unfortunately not. Now we cut to last lap into turn 12, where at this point we're actually under. We are still giving it a good go. Lap 7 of 8 was our fastest lap, and we're pretty much in touch in this lap as well. But yeah, small mistake into 14 was just a touch off the apex with a compromise run into 15, and especially down this back straight. So that was pretty much it. It's slightly disappointing one, just because I felt like maybe I probably should have been on the podium overall. But props to both Chris and Mike anchoring around in front of me, because they were just more race kind of fit and more conditioned for these conditions, because I just small mistakes that caught me out. That mistake on lap 1 where I ran wide, even though again I didn't know what I did. And again, probably the naivety of picking a medium front tyre, probably should have stuck with my gut and went with the hard, but it is what it is, I suppose. You can't really think of it that way. So we end up P4. Gang around wins it, fast lap for him. He goes actually faster than he does in qualifying, so showing great speed in the race for the Indian. Mike and Chris in P2 and 3, and I'm unfortunately in P4. Now I'm going to end it there for this episode of Live GP. We do gain a few points, but nothing to really write home about. Like I said at the start of the video, if you do enjoy this style of video, if you want to see more Live GP on the channel, let me know in the comments. I can definitely kind of incorporate into some sort of series where maybe we can do 2 or 3 races over a week and try to get into videos. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll leave it there. I hope you have enjoyed. Drop a like, subscribe, comment for more, and I shall see you in a future video. Thanks for watching. Slán go fótball.